This is the 2021 Mustang Mach-E. This is the premium version. This is the dual motor, and it also has the extended range battery. Now, Ford says that on this battery, with this configuration, it should be able to do 270 miles of range. But I don't really know if that's true. I want to figure out the real world range of this. So we're at an Electrify America station here in Paso, Robles. Gonna fill up the car, get it up to maybe 95, maybe 100% over a few hours, and then drive it as far as we can on a single charge down to Los Angeles. And we're gonna see what the real world range is. Now, one thing I'm gonna mention in this test is I'm not gonna try to hypermile it. I'm not gonna try to get the best range possible. I'm gonna drive at or around the speed limit, maybe a little bit over. I'm gonna drive normally. I'm not gonna try to extend the range. I'm gonna try to do something that is a real world range. So first thing we're gonna do is we are gonna charge the car. So on the Ford Pass app, which connects with the vehicle, you can see what the state of charge is. So right now it shows that I have a 46% charge level. I've got a range of about 106 miles, and it guesses or estimates how far you're gonna go based on your previous driving habits. So I'm gonna start filling it up right now, or charging it, I guess I should say. I'm still kind of old school. And let's see how long it takes to charge. It's pretty warm outside. It's probably about 60 degrees. It's about 7 p.m. It's a lovely evening to charge at Electrify America. If you're charging on the road, you're probably gonna be using a charger like Electrify America, might be part of EVgo. So there's the Ford Pass network, and they've combined a number of different networks underneath it, like EVgo, like Electrify America, and some others. And they give you a complimentary membership to the network, but you still need to pay as you go. So that's one way of charging. Now, for example, if you want to use Electrify America, which has a lot of fast chargers, you can also get a pass for the network. It's only $4 a month, and it's going to reduce your charging fees, at least in California, from about 41 cents per kilowatt down to about 31 cents. So you'll probably make that up in just a single charge. We started charging. We are about 2 minutes in. It's currently charging at 107 kilowatts. That's about 75% of the maximum capacity the Mach-E will take, which is 150 kilowatts. Should be done in, I don't know, a couple hours, and then we'll be ready to go. Last night we got the car to 97% at the EVgo station, and then pulled into the hotel where they actually have a free charger, which is pretty cool. Got it up to 100% overnight, telling me that I have 244 miles to empty. So we're in Paso Robles right now. We're gonna go down to Los Angeles. We're gonna take the slightly longer route, which is about 240, 250 miles, something like that. So it should be pretty close. Do a couple stops along the way, and let's roll. On the drive down the coast, I decided to take a detour which added 20 miles to ensure that the total trip would be closer to the EPA range of the car. We're pretty close to LA, so I've got 104 miles to go. It says my range is 69 miles, and it's been changing quite a bit. At one point, the delta was only 9 miles, so I figured this is pretty close. But now we're by the coast, we hit some high winds, and I'm thinking that is consuming more energy. I've actually been driving a little bit slower. I've been driving at about like 55, 60 miles an hour to try to conserve some of the energy. So it's gonna be a close call. We're gonna see if I can get some of that range back. But right now I've got a difference of 31, 35 miles to make up. So we'll see if I can get it back in time before we hit the charger in LA. So right now it's not looking too good. I'm gonna estimate the total range is gonna be around 240-ish on this particular charge. Let's find out. So I'm a little bit confused by what's going on with the navigation system. We passed a charger. It keeps trying to send me off the freeway into the nearest charger, which is good. I kind of appreciate that. I've got the coordinates set for Los Angeles, and I'm a little bit confused as to what it's doing here. The last time I checked, it said that we had 120 miles to go, and yet my destination is about 55 miles to go. So I think it was trying to send us back up to Santa Barbara to a fast charger there. Not exactly sure what's happening. So a little bit of a bug, I guess. This is still, everything's a little bit new. So when you get a car like the Mach-E, you still are getting some early technology, and you've got to be prepared for a couple little snafus. Not that big a deal really, but I'm still just a little bit confused as to why the navigation is trying to send us like back up the coast. I think I finally figured out what the navigation system is trying to do. So it knew that I wouldn't make it all the way back to the destination, although I think it might. But along the way, it automatically chose a charger for me to go to. And when I passed that charger, which is on the map, it's about 39 miles back up the coast, adding like essentially 80 miles to the trip, even though there clearly are chargers along the way down to Los Angeles. So I think that is what is happening here. So in terms of the actual range, what I think it's going to do and will we make it, my destination is about 52 miles away. It's telling me I have 50 miles of range. I do have a big hill to climb. I've probably got to climb like 1,000 or maybe 800 vertical feet at least. It's going to be pretty close. It's going to be pretty tight. I think we're going to make it. I think if the calculations are right, if what the estimated range here is right and what I'm sort of calculating in my head, I think this might get 260 miles on a charge. I'm sitting behind a trailer with a bunch of Teslas on it. How ironic is that? I reroute it in the navigation, the new destination, to be the charger, which is in LA, which is where I want to go. It tried to route me back up the coast still, but now it finally figured out, I think, that it's going to take me to the final charger. So at least from my understanding of what's on the dashboard here, it's telling me that my charger is 27 miles away and that I have 24 miles of range. Now I've just gone up a pretty big hill and I went up pretty slow. Not gonna lie, I went up like 50 miles an hour. I'm in the truck lane. I'm doing less than the speed limit now. I'm doing 58, but I think I can get to the charger. It's pretty close. If I have just a 3-mile deficit, I think I'm willing to try that and see if I can go beyond 0 and see if I can extract some additional range out of the air, out of space, out of my brain, and just put it into the battery and see if I can get those extra 3 miles. Are you with me? Let's try this. Made it to LA on a single charge. So the total trip from Paso Robles down to Los Angeles here at the EV Go station, 265 miles. And it says I have 14 miles to go. So I rolled into the station with 4% charge, 14 miles to go. So that should give me a total range of 279 miles. I know some owners have said they've been able to get up to 300, and to me that actually sounds pretty realistic. In terms of the driving style that I was doing, I was driving about 70 miles an hour on the freeway, more or less, a couple of stops, and didn't try to like particularly take it easy, although near the end of the trip, went up some hills, definitely went a little bit easier on the throttle just to make sure we could get here. So it's very realistic to say that 270 miles, which is the EPA estimated range, that is realistic for this car. A little bit of range anxiety there near the end, but it's pretty good. Now, overall, I have driven this car over about 6 days, 918 miles so far, and I've charged it 8 times. So yes, you can do road trips. Yes, you can live with this thing without having a charger at your home or at your office. You know, it's pretty good. This is livable. I like this. I think even if you're gonna do some occasional road trips, I think this is quite realistic. So we definitely hit the EPA number. I think you can do better than the EPA number if you drive it a little bit more conservatively. This has not been very expensive to run, just based on my calculations. This is gonna be less than half the cost of equivalent gas for this. So this is pretty good. Ford has done a great job with this. It gets the EPA range. I think that's very close to the Model Y. I think you can actually hit 300 with this, so pretty happy with it. I've got 2 more videos on the Mach-E. I did a full review, cinematic review, talking about all the features, everything you'd want to know about the Mach-E. I'm going to post that shortly. And I also did a quick point of view driving video so you can kind of get a sense of what it's like to drive. I'm going to have both of those videos linked up in a card somewhere up here when they are available. My name is Eric. Thanks so much for watching.